Welcome to Ask GameSpot. I'm Chris Waters. This is Sean McInnes, and we're talking Watch Dogs today. More specifically, I'm asking Watch Dogs on behalf of you.
Yes.
At Sean.
I'm going to be answering the Watch Dogs questions because, unfortunately for you, I'm the one who got to play the game for about 4 hours last week.
Yeah.
Played it from the very beginning, got to check out some story missions, goofed around for a little while.
That sounds cool.
So I think I have a pretty good idea of what Watch Dogs is about.
All right.
I guess we'll find out at least.
Here we go.
If you recognize this man, notify police immediately.
Our first question is from Jawsome Art over Twitter, who wonders, what sort of moral choices might we have? Meaning, do we have any choices that affect the outcome of the story elements?
So Watch Dogs is not, it doesn't have those branching narrative moments like you would find in a BioWare game or a Bethesda game, but I think what makes Watch Dogs interesting, from a morality standpoint at least, is the way you have that really immediate access to people's personal information and the way that colors your moment-to-moment decision-making. So, for example, maybe you're like infiltrating a security compound and you're about to pop a bullet into a guy's head, and all of a sudden your profiler tells you he's a single dad, or he volunteers at the children's hospital.
Ooh, okay.
Suddenly you feel like a real piece of garbage about killing the guy, so maybe you just sneak up and take him out non-lethally instead. On the flip side of that, maybe you see that somebody makes about $250,000 a year and you suddenly feel less guilty about robbing their bank account. So it kind of works both ways.
Cassie V00 is wondering, will the hacking interface be easy to understand, or will it get too complicated because of how many things you can hack in the game?
So, I mean, the funny thing is there's really not much of an interface to speak of. When you're looking at stuff in the world that you can hack, it's really just kind of like a subtle white outline on a security camera or a sewer grate or whatever other hackable object there is. The one that you can hack right now this second will have like a prompt on it that says like press X or square to hack security camera. So it's like, it's immediate, it's responsive, you hack that one thing. It can get a little finicky when there's like a ton of things around you because it all kind of gravitates to what's in the middle of your screen. So that's the thing that you can hack right now.
Sure.
But I mean, as long as you've got a pretty good command of the camera and the way that your aiming works, it's pretty simple to do.
Next up, it's the Fat Guy, wondering, how do the firearms feel in Watch Dogs? Do you get more of a Last of Us bulky feel or more of a Call of Duty type vibe? Smiley face.
Those are very opposite ends of the spectrum, you know? Call of Duty is very fast and frantic. Last of Us is very plodding and slow and deliberate. I think Watch Dogs is somewhere a little bit more in the middle, and in fact, the game that it reminds me a lot of is Splinter Cell, which is, no surprise, because that's also a Ubisoft game.
Sure.
But a lot of the time, you're using these tech gadgets as well. So Watch Dogs has like the sticky noisemaker from Splinter Cell, where you craft this little device, you chuck it in a corner, you remotely activate it, suddenly it's like chirping and drawing the attention of a guard over there so that you can sneak this way. The thing about Aiden is that he can die really fast. He's only going to take a few bullets before he dies.
That's not a Kevlar trench coat?
No, that is not. So you're, like, the thing about Watch Dogs is you're not a bullet sponge. So for me, the game really encourages stealth. It really encourages using gadgets. I mean, you can play it as a straight up shooter, it's just going to be a lot more challenging. At least, I mean, in my experience with the game.
Deluxe wants to know, can you shoot while driving? Or shoot while drive. That's the shoot while driving.
Yeah, that's how one would shoot while driving.
Yeah.
In Watch Dogs, no, I'm pretty sure that you can. At least not in my time with the game did I discover a way to shoot while driving. And I tried. You can hack stuff while you're driving. So if you're running away from the cops, you can hack a drawbridge that you just crossed so that it goes up as the cops are driving into it to kind of stop their advancement. The developers are kind of trying to nudge you in that direction instead of like the unbridled chaos direction of just popping off a few shots into the air.
It seems we've got a lot of curiosity about the driving mechanics in Watch Dogs, as Trick2092 wants to know, are there radio stations you can listen to that have licensed songs?
There are licensed songs in the game, and a lot of them are actually like Chicago bands. There's a lot of like Rise Against, Lawrence Arms, Alkaline Trio, a lot of those like local bands. It seems like they're trying to focus on Chicago music. There's not like radio stations that you would find in a GTA game. Instead, you're basically just kind of like skipping songs in one giant playlist.
Okay.
Sometimes you'll hear news updates on stuff that just happened in the game, but you're not switching between like a dozen different, wildly different radio stations.
Does it have the musical Chicago soundtrack in it as well?
I hope so.
Cos Romanos wants to know, how much can we customize Aiden? Is he fully customizable, or is it more like Assassin's Creed where you have like preset outfits?
It's definitely the second one.
All right.
There are clothing shops in the game. You can run in there and say, I'm gonna buy a new coat. And the coat comes, it's like this pre-made outfit. You buy a new coat, it comes with a new hat. Sometimes it comes with new pants and shoes.
Wow.
But they're all preset. You're not choosing individual clothing items.
Okay.
Some of them are really subtle, like you can change from your brown leather jacket into a black leather jacket. Some of them are crazy, like purple and like full army digital camo, which is ironically like the least subtle thing you could wear out in the streets of Chicago.
In the city. Yeah, that's weird.
I know.
Threat monitoring subject, Aiden Pierce.
Just 2 more questions to go, and the first one comes from Victoire Gobert, who wants to know, is this a game that sacrifices story for gameplay? Is the main character a human with emotions or a robot?
So that's actually a really good question, and I think it's something that a lot of people were thinking looking at the early gameplay demos and trailers for Watch Dogs, because Aiden Pierce, as a character, he looks on the surface pretty cold and unemotional. He's a vigilante, he's out for justice, vengeance, whatever that means, and he's just gonna hack a whole lot of shit along the way.
Yeah.
But having played the game and seeing how the story unfolds within the first few hours, I was actually pretty impressed by the way that they kind of like marry the themes of hacking with Aiden's personality. So he's a guy who's grieving, he's suffered loss, and he has this void in his life, and he fills that with hacking, He goes out into the world and he feels like he is in control of something, and it's just really interesting the way that they marry those two ideas in the game. That's the first few hours of the game. I don't know where they go from there with the other characters and how much he evolves as an urban vigilante. He doesn't always do the right thing, and that's pretty clear from the get-go, but he's trying. He's just a very troubled guy.
Some things you can't walk away from.
And our final question comes from Kay Gadu, who wants to know, do you think Watch Dogs has a sustainable future as a series based on what you've seen so far?
I mean, that's a broad question, right? Because it could go in any number of different ways. All I know is that I played about 4 hours of the game. I really enjoyed it. I'm really eager to play the full thing. I can't assign it a final score and say that this is the greatest game of this generation. There should be more of these.
Sure, nor can you comment on the conclusion and how it sets up anything that might come to pass.
Exactly. But I do think that the interesting question is, what is Ubisoft going to isolate as the kind of like overarching themes of Watch Dogs, and how are they going to apply that to future games? So like in Assassin's Creed, it's all these crazy different historical timelines and characters, but the narrative thread throughout the whole series is Templars and Assassins and their conflict together. What's that going to be in Watch Dogs? Are they going to get like super crazy with the hacking stuff as time goes on, or is it going to be something a little bit more narrative driven? I don't know. I think that's going to be kind of the big question, but I really enjoyed what I played of the game so far, and I think it's going to turn out to be a good one.
And that'll do it for this episode of Ask GameSpot, folks. Thank you for watching. Watch Dogs, of course, coming out in just about a month, so we're going to have a lot more on it on GameSpot in the coming month, and of course, once it's released, so stay tuned for that. And special thanks to Sean, not only for sharing your wealth of knowledge on the Watch Dogs, but also for getting through this without making any terrible dog-related jokes or meme cracks or anything like that. Thank you.
Maybe just hold that thought. Oh, here you go.
God damn it.